Hey guys, Zach here, coming at you with another video. So today we are going to be looking at the Nintendo Direct Luigi's Mansion 3 trailer, and we are going to be analyzing it together. Now, this is a decently long trailer. It's 3 minutes and 35 seconds. So, without any further ado, let's get started. So we start off with Luigi being frightened by something. Now, here we could really see the level of improvements that Next Level Games have done to Luigi's character model. We see the individual hairs on his mustache, we see the texture in his overalls and his shirt and even his hat. So Next Level Games have done some massive improvements when it comes to Luigi in terms of his design. So here we are in Luigi's room, which for some reason has a light fog at the bottom, which I really like that touch. And here you could see really the graphical improvements that they have made to this game. Still, some textures don't have the improvements I would have liked, but nevertheless, if you took a look near the left here, there's Luigi's suitcase, which is an old school style, like clamshell kind of case, and you can kind of see what I'm presuming is like the L logo at the top of that suitcase. But other than that, this room doesn't have much to report besides those creepy balloons at the back. I don't know why they would voluntarily go to this hotel that has fog and creepy balloons unless the ghosts added them while Luigi was sleeping. I don't know. So I can automatically see the improvement in Luigi's flashlight as well. So here Luigi is calling for Mario. I'm going to play that for you guys so you can hear it. So yes, that does confirm that the Mario call is back, and we see all of Princess Peach's luggage there. But this does show one thing. Obviously, all of Princess Peach's luggage is still in the hallway, which proves that this is probably the first night. So they're not there for a couple nights, and then this happens. This happens the night they arrive. So that's, really interesting that this all happens in one night. So one thing to note here is that on the left is room 503, and that will come into importance when it comes to mapping out this hotel. So as you can see in this shot, we're in the hallway, and oh my god, this game looks so much better than it did before. You can see that the brooms look a lot better than they did before. But as you can see in the back here, this is room 504. Now, if you remember from the last trailer, rooms 506 and 507 were down a hallway. I'm presuming it goes 505, and then 504 is in this corner, and then I'll tell you guys where 503 comes into the picture later on. So here we learn more about the story that Luigi and friends go to a hotel. There's nothing really to report here except for obviously Polterpup is with them. So Polterpup is good in this story. And it seems this lady, I'm still not entirely sure who she is, but I do have a theory. Like going back to the shot where they were all in the foyer, in the back there seemed to be a ghost. I don't know how well you can see it, but I'll zoom it in for you, obviously. There, it looks like there is a bellboy ghost. And not just one of those blue ghosts dressed up as a bellboy, more like a proper bellboy portrait ghost. Now, we did learn that portrait ghosts are in some way returning, that there's one on each floor, or one in each section. So I think this bellboy ghost being the main portrait ghost for this area does make sense. Now, as for this lady, I kind of have a theory that she's a ghost as well, except she doesn't really look like a ghost. But if she is, I think she could be one of the main villains, because she seems to be somewhat of this hotel's owner. So maybe if she's the owner, maybe her and King Boo are the main antagonists. Maybe it is both of them that are working together to cause all this chaos. So here we get a shot of the mansion again, and there's not much more to report from last time, though we definitely see King Boo at the top there. That is definitely King Boo. But for the most part, the image remains the same. It's just in a little bit of higher resolution. So if you want to see the hotel in high resolution, then there you go. And that penthouse thing at the top that I've always pointed out does have neon lights going on, so I wonder what that's going to be. If that's going to be some sort of club or something. So here we have the entrance shot of Luigi walking into one of these rooms. It looks like Luigi's walking into the hallway from his hotel room, mainly because you can see the wardrobe in the back of the room. And again, you get to see the higher detail on Luigi's clothing. And here, Luigi's in another room. Now, on the right on the wall, you see Luigi's wanted poster, and it doesn't seem to have changed very much. But But the picture changed, and that was really my main gripe with the old wanted posters, so I really don't care that much about these wanted posters. I'll accept them. And you can see a vending machine, it looks like, or maybe you use the strobe bulb to activate it and maybe food comes out. I'm not sure. When I watched the treehouse, it looked like food actually acted as money for some reason. Whenever I saw Luigi collect food, it served as money. So I don't know. I would think it would more so serve as health, but I really don't know. On the right side of the room, towards the bottom, you see these shiny things. I'm presuming they're coins, but obviously we know that money is returning. As Luigi walks through this room, we see on the left there that there is a hallway. I'm not entirely sure where it goes, but yeah, the hallway definitely does. Oh, actually, I think I do know. Now I'm looking at it. You can see the broom from the janitor's cart. So maybe that is the hallway that goes towards room 504, and that this is a side room right before you get to there. So that's pretty cool. I just noticed that, actually. So here are some ghosts. Now the thing that's weird about this is that this room doesn't have a room number. So I don't know if this, like, I don't know what this is. But we see all the ghosts, the blue ghosts wearing these like maid outfits. They're wearing like aprons and little cute hats. Now you can see on the left, it looks like a picture of the poltergeist. I don't know what else to really say about it besides the fact that it's a picture of the poltergeist. But you know. So now here we are in the main foyer with Luigi and one of the blue ghosts. The main lobby hasn't changed, except they definitely dimmed down the lights a lot, which looks way better than before. So they show off the Luigi strobe bulb ability. The ghost in this foyer has 15 HP, which is a lot less than we saw in the dining hall. So what makes me think this is that it'll start low, because the ghosts seem to be captured a lot faster. Like, you can suck them down a lot faster, giggity. But, you know, they still want to start off small and head up. So the ghosts upstairs have 100, but this one has 15 to start off small. But you can see how fast he gets captured, like really, really fast. So I think that mainly says that the ghosts later in the game will have really high health percentages. So here we see Luigi taking the poltergeist out of the car. Now this leads to a theory that I have, that this car is Professor Egad. You know, in Luigi Mansion 2, you take the poltergeist 5000 out of the car, and I didn't think anything of it. I just thought it was a car in a garage. But having this car here and doing the same thing again, I think that Egad, you know, this is Professor Egad's car, which makes sense since he's an old man. It's an old-looking car. So yeah, so he gets the poltergeist goo, it's called, because you can store goo at the back, which we'll talk about later. So one of the new abilities it boasts is the ability to slam the ghost into the ground. And honestly, as you can see, treasure flies out of them, and I really, really do like this mechanic of slamming the ghosts. It gives that meter a little more than just pulling it so that it takes out 50 health points. You get to slam the ghost, and it feels so satisfying. And now you're seeing this ghost wear the little bellboy hat and the tie. It looks really, really cool. So in this shot, now on the left here, you see this is where the hotel starts to come together. On the left here, you see a sign that says rooms 501 to 503. So I can only assume that up that hallway on the right is rooms 504 to 507. And obviously up that hallway would be on the right would be where that main like common area was, and then down that hallway even more is 504 at that corner, and then you turn right, and then you go down the hallway where 505, 506, and 507 await. So we also in this room we have the wanted poster still. There's the elevator with the number of the floor. Now the main thing about this game is the elevator is your main way of transporting yourself between the floors, and basically you need to collect the elevator buttons from each floor to progress to the next. This leads to something that I might not like about the game, but I'm not going to talk about that in this video. So now we see Luigi's suction shot in action, where he takes objects and he slams them into the ground, or breaks doors down, or crushes knights, or takes away shields from ghosts. There's a lot of functionality to this plunger. I'm glad it isn't just shooting ghosts in the face to disarm them. I'm glad it isn't just that. I'm glad you get to actually do useful things with them, with that ability. So here we see the ghosts calling in other ghosts to start what might be some sort of like horde mode, where like maybe you're in a room and then there's just an onslaught of ghosts that you have to clear from the room. And I honestly kind of like that. It feels like Luigi's Mansion. And yeah, these ghosts have 100 HP, so these guys will be a little harder to take down. And here we see Luigi's burst shot, which launches him into the air, but also it sends away all the ghosts that are nearby. So it can be useful if you are surrounded, if there are lots and lots of ghosts. And it's also useful in case this ghost wants to mess with you as well. So here we see Professor Egad's lab, and it's really reminiscent of the second game. On the right, it seems to be something kind of like the first game, where you put your plunger end in and you put the ghost in, and there's a screen there so you can see what you've captured. Then on the top there, you see B1 and basement, so I'm presuming that's a map of the mansion. And there on the desk, you see a book of what looks like the red ghost from Luigi's Mansion 1. Luigi's Mansion 2. Now, in the treehouse event, we actually saw the red ghosts return, so we do know that the red ghosts are back. They look a little bit different, but they are back nevertheless. So seeing the ghost on the book just kind of confirmed that, and it's kind of leading to lots of questions of, will there be other ghosts that return from either the first game or the second game? It'll be really interesting to see what other ghosts come back. So obviously here we see the first instance of Luigi, and we see how he plays, and how he's in use when you're not using Luigi. So you have to switch between the two. He can go through metal gates, he can go through spikes. There's a lot of functionality to Luigi, and I think it will lead to really interesting gameplay, but I don't think there's anything really of note in this part of the trailer. Besides, in the medieval section, there's obviously a medieval section. I was right in my initial analysis where I thought there would be a castle section. There is a castle section. It's like a medieval section. I think it's called the medieval section, but it's like a castle section, really. So here we see a bathroom with lots of watermelons. This room I don't quite understand, but this is where Luigi and Luigi work together to, remove the watermelon, and a ghost pops out of it. So, so this is obviously an instance where you have to use both Luigi and Luigi, and I'm really interested to see how that works. Because obviously, if you're not using Luigi, will he still be using his vacuum? Like, how will that all work? So next up here, now this is the part where the analysis can really come in handy. We seem to be in some sort of shopping mall. So the one on the right is basically the part where we saw Luigi go through the bars. But what's interesting is that there's the section on the left, which is a barbershop, but we see something kind of like flying inside the barbershop. I don't know if it's a ghost holding scissors. Maybe the portrait ghost in this area is like a barber. That could be really cool. But yeah, there's this flying gold stuff. I don't know exactly like what it is, but it looks pretty cool. I wonder what it's going to be, if it'll lead to more ghosts. But obviously there's also an upstairs, but I can't really make out what those two areas are. I'm presuming it's some sort of, well, one of them has to be some sort of cafe, it looks like, because there's like tables everywhere with like little teacups and all that. But I'm not really sure what the other one could be. Maybe it's just a dining hall in general. Maybe one's actually a restaurant, one's a cafe. Well, actually, no, now I'm thinking about it, I do see the cafe, because there's a teacup sign and there's a little counter there, so I don't know what the other two places could be. But yeah. That's that part, which is some sort of shopping mall, which is another theme that looks like they're going to be going with here. So obviously here we see Luigi's inability to handle water, but we also see something a little more interesting. On the left, we see a gem. So it looks like the gems are going to be returning. So it looks like Luigi will somehow be able to get that gem, but obviously since there's water basically blocking his whole way, maybe there's a way where he could stop the water flow or something like that. Maybe he turns on the hand dryer and it dries up a certain area. I don't know, but somehow Luigi will be able to access that toilet with the gem, and that'll be really, really cool to see how he does it. So it's really cool to see the gems return. I think that's pretty cool. And another thing about this room here on the right is we see a pipe. So Luigi is able to transport through these pipes to areas that only he can be in. And this is a really interesting approach, and I don't mind it so much. So Luigi will have his own little sections where he can explore, and it will lead to a lot of cool exploration abilities. So now we're talking about the Scare Scraper. Now there's a few interesting things to note here. Well, the first thing I want to talk about is on the right of the top hand corner is a map. Now there's actually a theory, because also we saw the pause menu in the treehouse, and we're thinking, because like there will be a substitute to the Game Boy Horror / Dual Screen, there is going to be a replacement, and I'm kind of theorizing it might be a virtual boy. I have no clue how they're going to make that work, but because of the fact that the pause menu is red and black and the map here is red and black, it might be a virtual boy that will be the Game Boy horror device of this game, which I think is really, really interesting. So here on the bed, we see a backpack that has a boo symbol on it. So I don't know like if boos are just going to be common guests in these hotels as well, but that at least does implicate that boos will be returning. As to how we capture them, no clue. We saw nothing of it in this trailer. But it'll be really interesting to see boos actually returning, because we didn't see boos at all in this trailer besides of King Boo, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Here we saw our first sign of another ghost type, which is weird because we are over halfway, actually we're more towards 3/4 of the way done with this trailer, and we're just seeing a new ghost type, and it's these skinny gold-like ghosts. At first I thought they were gold versions of the original ghosts that are like Speedy Spirits, which are also apparently confirmed to return, but these ghosts do look different in terms of design. They look a lot skinnier, their faces are a lot longer and skinnier. So these ghosts look pretty cool, but they're only seen in the Scarescraper mode, so I don't know if they're going to be in the main mansion mode, but I think they are, and there is something that's pointing towards that later in the trailer, which we will get to. So here we obviously see all the different colored Luigis and their Gooigi counterparts, which yes, this is 8-player co-op, which is really, really cool. Though it's 8-player co-op in the sense that like you have to have 2 people to a Switch. So you can't have 8 people internationally coming together, you know, playing. No, it would have to be, if you wanted to play, I'm presuming it would be, you know how back in the days of Call of Duty, where like if 2 people were playing on one account, like there would be a 1 and a 2 by their name. I think if you want to play online with a friend locally, you could pass a controller to someone and they could play as Gooigi while you play as Luigi. It's hard to explain, but I think that could really work. And also, the color of the text seems to have changed with the color of the ghost, which I think is really, really interesting. So this is orange, whereas the blue ghost health meter is blue. So in this room, obviously, we are saving a toad. So I'm wondering if this will be an aspect of the actual game, or maybe you have to save toads, but the toads are in painting, so I wonder how they're going to make that work. So they talk about different modes being used, where like, you know, where you're catching ghosts or rescuing toads. But it seems like if you look in the map, you are also capturing ghosts while you are rescuing the toads. So maybe the toads have a weakness to certain ghosts or something like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out, and if it does happen in the main mansion gameplay where you do rescue toads. And there's 4 toads in the Scarescraper mode, so it does seem to be completely unrelated because there are only 3 toads in the main gameplay, which we will see later. So something of interest here is, now obviously we see the toads in different colors. We see yellow, green, and red, but the blue Luigi has like a siren on his head, which we see in the treehouse on the red ghost, so maybe that increases his health. I don't know, that's the only thing I could possibly think of for that, because in the treehouse, that red ghost had a lot of health, and he also had that siren. And the Luigi on the left, the green Luigi, had a poltergust with like mufflers on the back, or like an exhaust system, and it's like electrified. So I wonder if that means that the poltergust is more powerful or something like that. That's what I'm theorizing towards, but we'll have to see. And we also see on the right on the map where you see check marks. That means that the room has been cleared. There are no more ghosts. Which it looks like that's the case in all of the rooms. Like there's no ghost in any of the rooms. So it'll be really interesting to see like what it means. Maybe there's another toad they haven't found yet. I'm not sure. So here is a really interesting thing. You see the door that has trapped one of the other Luigis, the purple Luigi, behind it. Now, this has me ask a couple questions. Will these kind of doors from Luigi's Mansion 1 return? Because as you can see, there's no mat under the door. So will the fake doors return in the original mansion mode? Because this is only seen in the hidden, or in the, sorry, not the hidden mansion mode, sorry, the Scarescraper mode. So will those fake doors return? And also, you know, if, you know, like, because obviously you need another player to rescue you, so I'm presuming they wouldn't be in the main mansion mode, but I think it'd be cool if they were, to fake us out. I don't know, like, I think that'd be a cool feature in the main mansion mode. So here we see Luigi using the elevator. This is the main transportation between floors. Now here we see Luigi enter the medieval area, and there's the garden area. So going back to the medieval area for a second, we see there's a face on a window at the top there. There is a portrait ghost in this area, but the face doesn't look like his. It actually kind of looks like Bowser in my opinion, but you can let me know down in the comments down below. You also see popcorn on the right, which I believe you can collect. You can collect that popcorn, and it seems like there's like a pulley there that you vacuum on and it opens that gate so that you can go into that area. And there's the garden area, not much to report here. Then there's the movie studio area, which I actually really do like this area. And you know, it's pretty intricate, but there's a TV on the left there where it has the flash thing, and you use the strobe bulb to flash it, and then it turns that screen on, and you can use that screen to teleport back to the main room in the, you know, the big room where the ghost is. It's kind of reminiscent of the portals that were in Luigi's Mansion 2. So here we see a room, which is obviously in the medieval section, where you need Luigi to blow on the little fan there to send Luigi down on the elevator, which I think is really, really interesting, that you will need Luigi to do certain tasks. And there seems to be something gold in that cage. I can't really tell what it is, but there seems to be something in there. Here we see Luigi kind of Indiana Jonesing it or Tarzaning it from one side of the plant to the other. So here's the interesting part. There's a ghost here that is a cop. Now, one thing that I'm asking myself is this a common ghost dressed up as a cop, kind of like you see the ghosts earlier, like the blue ghost dressed up as maids and bellboys, or is this another one of the portrait ghosts? Because we see that there's a film ghost that isn't in the trailer, but I'm leaning towards that this ghost is a portrait ghost. And the main reason, now this is a weird reason to have, but it's because he has a nose. You know, I think him having a nose is pretty indicative of being a portrait ghost. And also, he is actually wearing clothes. Now you see with the blue ghosts that are dressed up as the maids and the bellboys, they don't actually have clothes on. Like the bellboys have like a tie and a hat, and the maids have a hat and like a apron. But this is actually a fully clothed ghost, you know, and we don't see any ghost of this other, you know, we don't see this ghost at all during the trailer for the rest of the trailer, so I don't think it's a common ghost. So this is another one of the portrait ghosts that is a police officer. Now I don't know why there would be a police officer in the middle of this, but maybe he, I don't know, we'll figure out what role he has later on. Now he obviously has a water pistol, which I think is really cute. Maybe that will be, like, you know, maybe that water pistol, because Luigi, obviously, as we saw, is not good with water. So maybe, you know, Luigi cannot fight against this ghost because he has a water pistol and will shoot water at Luigi. So here we see a shot of Luigi going across the ledge, nothing to report here. And then here we see all of Luigi's friends in portraits. So pictures are going to return, and it looks like from the design of the pictures, you will have to use the Dark Light ability to free them, just like in Luigi's Mansion 2. Now the Dark Light ability is confirmed to return, and there's a hint towards that later in the trailer, but looks like there are 5 people to rescue. Now, it seems like, because there are bosses on each floor, it seems, so I don't know if there's going to be bigger bosses that are going to be, you know, getting each painting and getting each character. I don't know. But at least we know there are 5 main people you're saving: Mario, Peach, and 3 Toads. So it also seems like there are going to be, like I said, 5 bigger bosses. So here we get a look at one of those, I'm presuming, bigger bosses. So obviously this ghost does have a human-like form. And we can see the crowd is filled with the common ghosts, aka the blue, the yellow, and the red ones. So the red ones are obviously designed after Luigi's Mansion 2's red ghost. They are a lot more square in this one. I don't know why they went for that really blocky design. I honestly don't really like that. I actually kind of prefer the original red ghost from Luigi's Mansion 2, which is really weird to say, because I didn't really like them much at all. But I wish it went for a more rounded design, because I think the blocky design looks really childish. But you see the other ghosts in the crowd, the skinny gold ones and the blue ones, you see them in the crowd, which basically I think does confirm that the gold ghosts that we saw in the Scare Scraper mode, I think those are kind of confirmed to be main ghosts. And we see a closer look at this guy, which is obviously a knight in shining armor, and I have a theory that he's going to be kind of like the bigger boss, like the area boss kind of, you know, like the ghost Morty, the movie director ghost. He it was a very small boss battle. I mean, it was a big boss battle, but this boss battle looks a lot more intimidating with this portrait ghost. And here in the next shot, we see King Boo chasing Luigi. Now, first of all, I love this shot. This looks really good. When I first saw this, I thought this was the final boss, but there are so many things that are leading me to believe that that is not the case. Firstly, obviously out of the way, we're in the hotel. The hotel part is obviously pretty low in the mansion. It's like one of the first things you do, though it is, like every single hotel room we've seen is 5-0 something. So it seems like the main hotel part, like this part, is only on the 5th floor, but that is not confirmed, so we don't know that just yet. Another thing to note is that Luigi doesn't have his poltergust, so he could just leave the room and then be in the hallway, and then King Boo shows up and chases him down to the main foyer. Another thing that says that is that Peach's luggage is still kind of there. I think that if it was later in the game, Peach's luggage might have been moved or there had been something done with it. So something I find really interesting here is we see King Boo using the spirit balls from Luigi's Mansion 2 on the door to room 503. So I'm guessing this is just preventing Luigi from going into that room. I don't know if that's his room or if that's another player or another character's room. I don't know, but it's a really interesting point. And King Boo looks awesome. He looks fierce. He looks scary. I love King Boo's design in this game so far. The tongue looks a little untextured, but I think King Boo overall looks really great, and it's lending to a great sense of atmosphere in this game. So then we see this final shot of Luigi screaming, and we really see the detail that they gave to Luigi. His gloves look a lot more textured, his mustache is a lot more textured, his overalls, his shirt, his hat, everything, the rug even. Everything looks a lot more textured and a lot better than it did before. So, that, you guys, is my analysis of Luigi's Mansion 3. Thank you guys so much for watching this analysis. I know it was probably a decently long analysis, but overall, it was definitely a pretty good trailer, and I am very excited for this game to come out. So thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video.